again. I couldn't understand where these patterns were coming from, why I was going on win streaks and then losing it, and then having to take a break, and then coming back, sizing down, doing it all over again. It was like a wheel, just kept happening over and over again. I couldn't understand it. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Marco, and today we're going to be talking about how overconfidence is killing your trading. We're going to be covering my personal experiences with this topic, and we're going to be going over my self-evaluation plan that I call the success continuation plan that I use so that I can review myself, catch myself before overconfidence creeps in and I start making trading mistakes. Now, if you're watching this video because that's what happened to you today in the market, I want you to first stop, take a deep breath in and out, and repeat after me. I am not the results of my last trade. Clarity is the real win, and I respect success by staying grounded. Remember those three phrases because I want you to revisit at the end of the video, go over them again so it's really ingrained in your head and you can take that moving forward. All right, so let's talk about it. I got my success continuation plan pulled up right here. I really want to try to get in a mindset and get in a mind frame of having this framework so that you can do this self-evaluation, because it's the most important part of your trading, is identifying the mistakes you're making and then learning a way to prevent them. But the main thing is identifying the triggers and what causes these mistakes to happen in the first place. So that's what I have on my success continuation plan. The goal is to identify when I'm trading well and prevent overconfidence and stubbornness from taking a losing trade. So what I was noticing in my trading was I would go on streaks where I was trading really well, whether I'm going on win streaks, you feel me, whether I hit a big trade, whatever the case may have been. I might just be striking high. I might have, really locked in and understood the market at the times. And what I was noticing was that would lead to either big losses or consecutive losses. And another thing I was noticing was I was winning when conditions allowed and then taking losses back to back and going on a losing streak when the market conditions changed. So that was something that once I took a step back and realized eventually the market is going to change on me. No matter how hot I'm striking, all the winning trades, massive winners I'm hitting, eventually the market is going to change. And the most important thing is don't come off of those winners overconfident, think you're a genius, think you can't ever take a losing trade, because when the market changes and you start taking that loss, showing you that something's changing or that you're not paying attention to the bigger picture, you can't be stubborn and think, oh, I'm gonna keep doing it, I'm gonna keep, you feel me, trying to force a win or trying to force my will onto the market, because that's not gonna work. So once you notice that, you really gotta take a step back, notice things are changing, and get yourself in line so that you can still be around when the real opportunity comes back around and presents itself. Another thing is you can't take those winners, take that win streak, and then go and start doing stuff that's outside of your system. You done had this one setup that you practice over and over again, that you spot in the market over and over again, and that you've been executing on, winning. You get a couple wins under your belt, and then you start doing stuff you never did before. You start putting on indicators you never used before. You start just pulling out random special moves that you never did into the market because you're thinking, oh, I'm on a win streak, I'm going to keep striking, it's going to keep working. And the reality is it's not. That's not the truth. It's not going to work. You need to stick to your system. You feel me? So that's some of the stuff that you're going to have to ask yourself. You really got to remember that win streaks mean nothing if you go start breaking your rules, you go on a losing streak, you give back all your profits. Those wins that you had today will not matter if you never lock in, if you never follow your process, if you never get disciplined and you're still struggling two years later. That win streak will not matter at all. So it's not about the wins. It's about, can you get yourself back to a normal level of regulation where you're not too high off the wins? Can you get yourself back to regulate it, right? Back to homeostasis. Can you get yourself back to a level where you can consistently execute your plan? You feel me? Don't deviate from your plan. Don't allow the overconfidence to have you moving away from what it is that you should be doing. And definitely don't let the overconfidence make you overconfident to the point where you're doing stuff that you never even tried before just because you think it's going to continue to work. Another thing I was running into was coming off of a win streak and then setting crazy targets and started going for home runs, right? Because I'm like, oh, if I was right, if I keep getting the direction right, why don't I just hold on for 100 points instead of selling out for a 10-point winner? That was another trap I was falling for. I noticed myself whenever I went and I took my original TP from 10 points or whatever it was that the trade could allow, and I started stretching it and saying, let's see if I can go for this. That was one of the triggers for me that overconfidence was taking over. That was one of the triggers for me that, hold up, I need to chill. I need to make sure I'm consistently executing my plan. I need to make sure I'm not looking for home runs. And I need to make sure I'm continuing to take these small base hits that are going to add up and make me consistent over time. So remember, the wins mean nothing if you allow a win streak to get to your head and destroy all of your good habits. You feel me? It means nothing if you destroy your good habits and you lose your consistency and your edge in the process. So that's what you need to do. The first thing is know that overconfidence is going to come after a few winners, after a big winner. Know that you're vulnerable to this overconfidence coming in. That's the first step. The second step is going to be identifying the triggers of when it's creeping in. So before you even get the trigger, you should know, okay, it's coming. Let me make sure I'm good. When you do get the trigger, you feel me? When you start going for home runs, or you start putting on trades that are outside of your system, or you start, you feel me, moving that TP way up so you can try to catch a 100-point winner, that's when you really take a break, stop trading, even close out the trade if you have to make sure that you're back to a level where you're saying, you feel me, you're in your right mind, and you're not just thinking, oh, I'm a sniper, I can continue to just, you feel me, put on any trade, go for any target. Make sure you're at a level where you can consistently execute. Stick to your plan. Stick to your target. Stick to what you know works, and don't try to deviate from it. Continue to keep slow and steady growth at the front of your mind. You feel me? That's the main thing. It does not matter if you're on a win streak. It doesn't matter how big those wins could be. You feel me? Don't chase the money. Make sure you're just slow and steady. You continue to do exactly what you've been doing. And another big one is, don't be overconfident and refuse to change with the markets. That was one of the biggest things. Yes, you see how effortlessly those wins will come when everything is aligned in your favor. But when the market starts changing, don't be stubborn. Don't say, I'm on a win streak, I can keep winning. The market is changing, bro. You have to pay attention to that. You cannot ignore those signs and allow those to make you take unnecessary losses, because you're forcing your strategy and you're forcing your edge in an environment when it's not present. Your edge is not just your strategy and your execution. Your edge is applying your strategy and your execution in an environment that it works in, right? So don't just think, oh, I have a winning strategy, I have a winning entry model, and you can put it on in any circumstances, because that's not true, right? So change with the market. Do not be stubborn just because you're winning. And those are some of the main things that I use to make sure that I'm not getting too overconfident, you feel me? Just really have some type of framework in place so that you don't become overconfident. You're not getting too high off the highs. I also have something that I call a disaster prevention plan, so that when I take a loss, I'm not getting too low on those lows. You feel me? It's the same thing, but in reverse. It's identifying when my confidence is getting hit, when hesitation may creep in, all of those other things. Let me know if you want me to make a separate video about that. I probably will. But yeah, this for the success continuation plan. Get into the habit of doing this self-evaluation work, because people always say psychology, but rarely do they break down these things in a way for you to understand. You'll notice yourself. You'll notice it. There's going to be habits. That's why journaling is so important. You'll be saying out loud, oh, my target is at 10 points, but I'm hot right now. I think we can catch 100 points on this trade. And that's how you know that things are changing within you. You feel me? We talked about the market changing, but you got to identify when things are changing within you that are going to lead to different results. The same way that you identify when things are changing within the market, that's going to lead to different results, right? So make sure you guys stay as self-aware as possible, bro. Do these self-evaluation plans. Have these things in place to identify your negative habits, your thinking patterns, your triggers. Have something like this in place. You feel me? It's going to be a game changer. So y'all remember what we did at the beginning of the video. Now that you have all of that in mind, those 3 phrases probably make a little bit more sense now. I am not the results of my last trade. That goes for winners and losers, right? A winner does not define you. It doesn't make you any better than you were yesterday. It just means the market rewarded you for doing what you were supposed to do, right? A loser doesn't make you any good, any better or worse than you were yesterday, right? It just, that's part of the game. You feel me? You could have executed perfectly. Everything could have looked great and you still take a loss. That's part of the game. Your self-worth is not determined by that. So remember, I am not the results of my last trade. Remember, clarity is the real win, right? You want clarity. You want to be at baseline. You want to be in a state where you can consistently execute properly. You feel me? You don't want to be too hype. You don't want to be too low. You don't want to be too overconfident. And you don't want to have a lack of confidence either. Remember, you want to have clarity. You want to be in a good headspace and a good mind frame. You feel me? And then the last one probably really makes sense now for you guys. I respect success by staying grounded. Because when you're winning, when you're finding success, do not get big-headed. Do not get overconfident. Stay grounded. Show your respect for success by making sure you stay in a place where you can keep that success and continue that success. And that's why this is called the success continuation plan. You feel me? So let me know if you guys can relate to any of this in the video. Hopefully it's information that can help you. This took me a long time for myself. It took a long time for me to figure this out because this is something I was struggling with over and over again. I couldn't understand where these patterns were coming from, why I was going on win streaks and then losing it and then having to take a break and then coming back, sizing down, doing it all over again. It was like a wheel just kept happening over and over again. I couldn't understand it until I really paid attention to what my mind was telling me, what my body was telling me, and preventing these things before they happen. So yeah, man, make sure you guys leave a like, comment down below, tell me about your experience with this, and make sure y'all subscribe if y'all like this video and y'all want more videos like this. I'm gonna keep talking about psychology. I'm gonna keep letting you guys know those self-awareness tips, how to develop that self-awareness, because I really feel like it's one of the most important things that you need if you want to be a successful trader. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.